Hello and welcome back to True Grit and Grace. Today on the show, I have Tabitha and Callie Truelove. Callie was born with a chromosomal disorder that, along with causing a few health problems, makes her exceedingly warm and kind with strangers and friends alike. With the help from a former Brady Bunch actor, Christopher Knight, Callie's story of Williams syndrome is reaching a wider audience and spreading even more love with her documentary called True Love, the film. In fact, Christopher Knight even calls Callie the bomb squad of love. So, along with her documentary, she's been featured on Hallmark's Home and Family. She has a brand new book that's out, and she continues to spread her love and light to thousands on Facebook. I mean, seriously, you guys go viral on Facebook. And I think this is exactly what the world needs more of right now: more love and kindness, acceptance and less judgment. So y'all get ready for some love bombs because I have Tabitha and Callie on the show. Welcome here, y'all.
Hello.
It's so good to see you. And every time I hear your voice, I just feel at home. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I love your story. It really touches my heart. And I think
Oh,
about you all the time.
well, I love you. I met you and it was like instant love at first sight. We were on the set. We were doing an interview for Hallmark at Home and Family. And I remember when I met you, just the kindness that you have. And I was kind of, I was a little nervous. I mean, seriously, I was like backstage doing push-ups and stuff because I was so nervous. And you walked over and you just were so kind and so loving and immediately gave me a compliment. And I'll never forget too, my friend introduced herself as my assistant, and you shook her hand and then you looked at me and you said, "Oh, you have an assistant? Well, you're a celebrity." And I said, "No, I'm not." No, I'm not. But you're just so sweet. And you were there to talk about your documentary. But before we get into that, I just want to share with the listeners a little bit about y'all, how you got to where you are, because it wasn't an easy road to get to. All of a sudden you're writing a book and you're doing a documentary. I mean, Tabitha, how did you feel when you found out that your daughter was diagnosed with chromosomal? Do you call it disorder? Is that what you call it?
Well, Callie always says it's not her disorder, it's her miracle. And
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I think it is a miracle. And I've had mixed emotions from other people when I say that because of all the struggles that comes with it.
Hmm.
But I really believe that it is her miracle and our miracle. She's our miracle because she's taught us so much. I remember the day that they told us Callie was born. She had no medical problems. They told us, she was fine. But I knew from the moment that she was born, there was something different. There was just something. I guess it was just like mom intuition or whatever. But as time went on, about 2 months old, she started having choking episodes, and we went to the hospital for these episodes. And then we went to the doctor's office. They found out she had a heart murmur, and that just snowballed into finding out that her aorta was really bad. It was very, very small. And they told us that there was no way that she would ever see her first birthday the way that her aorta was, that it was just closing off. And as she grew, it would just get worse. And so whenever we got the diagnosis that with her aorta being the way that it was, they had to have, like, they started searching, and they called in a geneticist, and he looked at Callie and said, does she look like your other kids? Do you think that she has a different look about her? And I was like, no, I think she looks, like my other kids. And she had the facial features and all of the Williams syndrome, and he knew right off that she did have it. But they tested her, and at that time, I think that me and my husband both had this feeling that it didn't matter what the diagnosis was, that if God just allowed us to keep her because of the diagnosis of, she would never see her first birthday. They told us to come home, spend every minute like it was the last. That was the words the doctor told us.
Oh
So
my goodness.
um, we both walked out of the NIC unit saying that it doesn't matter if we have to tote her the rest of our life. It doesn't matter what life throws at us or what obstacles that we have to face with her, that we were going to do it as a family because we had three older girls. We're going to do it as a family, and we're going to give her and strive to give her the best life that we can. And we were just going to hit those obstacles head on. And if God just allowed us to have her, and that's what has happened. I mean, He has allowed us to have her for 16 years, and she struggles, but it's struggles make you stronger. And out of all of this, we have learned to love unconditionally, to take every day like it's the last. And as humans, we forget to do that day by day. But there's always something that Callie either says or does that brings that back to me and grounds me to cherish the moments, the good and the bad. We're not
Mhm.
promised that life's going to be easy, but it's just how we and what we do with that makes us. And so,
Yeah. Well, you said so much there. So much of what I got out of that. And that's why I was kind of careful to ask, what do you say disorder? Because, with my diagnosis with CRPS, I don't let it define me.
right,
And people will ask me all the time, oh, well, would you take it back if you could? Would you take that day back that you were riding your motorcycle? And I can't even allow myself to think that way. I kind of think about, well, these are the cards that I've been dealt, and
right,
I am going to play the best that I can with the cards I've been
that's
dealt.
exactly right.
And everything that you just said, you really represent just living in the moment and making the best of every day, and acceptance. And some people, I think so much of it is about our perception of things, and how can we shift our perspective and see the good in situations, and to have, what a miracle. You are a miracle that you not only survived through that first year. You're almost 16, and you have taken what some people might define, or might put, called, make him feel like a victim, or play that victim card. And you have used that to not only empower yourself, you empower so many others, and you give hope and inspiration to so many others. And so I think that you are here for a reason, and I love to see you living your purpose. Yeah, Callie, can you tell us exactly what your purpose is in your words?
Well, my purpose is here to show people that there's hope in the world. I had a follower who about committed suicide because she lost everything. And she said by me talking to her, I convinced her not to commit suicide, and I showed her that there was still good in the world. And it's been an honor to be able to talk to these women and people who are going through hard times right now, who feel like giving up. I mean, I think we all would if we were in their situation. And I try to put myself in other people's shoes and try to put myself in their situation. And I try to make them feel better through all of that. And it's been incredible. And I mean, her situation could have been a lot worse. But thank God that I was there at that time and I helped her get through that hard time. And that's what I'm here for, is I'm here to help you and uplift you no matter what you are going through, and show you that there's still hope in the world. And I'm so honored to be able to do that for people.
Well, you do. And I'm sure that there are even more people that you touch and you change their lives or you save that you probably aren't even aware of because your reach, your message is just growing more and more. Would you say one of the ways that you help people do that is to shift their perspective and change their thinking a little bit? Or how would you say that you
Yeah,
do that?
I always teach people love, and that is the best way to train people and teach people is love. And I always try to tell them that there's always a brighter day coming for them. I mean, we all go through these storms in our lives where we all feel like giving up, but we have to remember that there is love in this world. And if I can be the person that shows people love and that can prove it, then I will be here to prove it. And I made a promise to my followers that this COVID-19 and that the loss of Bill was not going to make me change my mind about love, and it wasn't going to tear me down. And I promised all of my followers that no matter what they're going through, I'll always be here for them. And
Mm.
so I think that's what helps them through life is me talking to them. And I feel like I can relate personally to each and every one of them, like just their situation. Each of them has a little piece that I can relate to, and
Mhm.
that if I can help them, I'm gonna go 100,000%. Like I'm gonna
Oh.
fight the fight with them, and I'm gonna be there for them. So yeah,
Well, I think that that's huge right there because I think community is powerful. And when we feel like we're not alone in something and when we have that consistency of seeing someone show up for us,
hmm
it gives us strength and hope. And so by you showing up, and I know you have shown up in some of the hardest moments of your life, just recently when you lost your dog and you still were showing up for people. And I could see people leaving comments like, please take the time you need. Like your followers, they love you and they care about you, but you still showed up even though you were going through this hard time. What is it in
yeah.
you that gives you that courage and that resilience to keep showing up even though you might be struggling yourself? What do you think it is in you? Is it your followers to show up for them or
Yeah, I believe it's God and the love and the support that I get from Him, and the love and the support that I get from my followers. And I know that they probably wish that I would have took a little bit of longer of time to cope with everything. But this is my life. This is what I live for. And I wasn't gonna let Doodle's death get me down, and I wasn't gonna stop. And I believe that's what made me a stronger person is striving to be there for my followers because they look up to me, and I did not want to be the purpose of why one of them or a lot of them lost their lives just because I gave up. So I wanted to be sure that I still dealt with it. And they too have lost their animals, and they still join my library. They've lost humans that they love through this pandemic, but they still show up. So I
wow.
felt like it was my responsibility to be there for them, even when they're there for me. So yeah, I wanted to be there for them, and I wanted to encourage them and uplift them. So yeah, I believe that love what has helped me through all of this, and I'm just a better person today.
Well, I think that the world needs your message of love and kindness more than ever. I mean, I honestly, I turned on the news last night and what's going on with the world right now. I mean, we're not only dealing with COVID, but on the news last night, I had to turn the news off because it was all riots
Mhm.
all over the country. And I thought, oh my goodness, I can't wait to talk to y'all because we need to spread more love and kindness. Now, what would you say to someone who is sitting there listening going, well, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm resentful, I just want to take it out on something, I don't feel like I love anyone or anybody right now. What would you say to them? when they're like full of anger or pain, and what would your message be of love to them?
I mean, first off, I would say I can relate to you because we're all going through this at once, and nobody thought that it would be as bad as it is. But I would just tell that person, don't give up. Like, don't give up. Don't waste your life just because this has happened. Like, we're all going through it. And I want to encourage that person, like, keep fighting. Like, think about something that makes you happy, and like keep thinking about that thought. And I know you're angry right now. We're all angry right now, but we have to stand up for what we believe is right, and that's love. And we have to lift up one another, and we have to stand as one country, one place, and we have to support each other through this hard time. And I just want to put myself in that person's shoe and say, I know you're hurting. I know you want to give up, but just keep fighting, because we are going to get through this, and we're going to come out a better country than we was before. So just keep fighting. Don't give up on your life. Don't give up on you, and especially don't give up on your kids' life either, if you have children or if you have someone you're taking care of, because they look up to you and you're setting an example for them. And so I just want to encourage people to not give up right now.
Well, I love that. And you said so many good nuggets in there. And one of the things that I really like to say that I think is so important is that you said is I think, resilient people really choose wisely what they put their attention or their focus on. And you said, focus on what makes you happy. And I think that is such great advice, because it's real easy to focus on the bad or focus on the negative, and then you can just spiral down deeper into a sadness or depression, or get more angry or feel stuck. And I think it's really important, if you're listening out there and you're feeling stuck or you're feeling sad, what is your attention on? What if you can find one thing in the day or in your life to spark joy? I just had a client this morning who was, we're all feeling this, what's going on in the world. And she was like, well, I just can't find hope. I said, you know what? Find one thing that you can look forward to each day. Sometimes it's easy to forget the little blessings or big
Mhm.
blessings sometimes that we have in our life. And I feel like if you can find even one thing that sparks joy. I told her, I said, you know what? Call somebody and reach out and be of service. I said,
Yeah.
um, you know what? Make a plan with somebody. You can go to the park. Here in LA, we're still pretty locked down. The
Yeah.
restaurants are still closed except for curbside pickup. And I said, but that doesn't mean you can't meet them at the park 6 feet away, or you can't go to the beach.
Mhm.
It's to have something to look forward to and to focus on the joy that you have in your life, because and I think energy is contagious. I really feel like if we're hanging around people who are positive, we're going to be more positive. If I hang out with y'all all the time, I'm really going to feel good, because every time I'm around you, I feel good. Whether it's just like a quick, whether I'm seeing you on Facebook or Instagram or here, it just feels good. And I just love all you share about that. I wanted to ask, what did you think when they reached out to you and said, we want to make a documentary with you?
I was like, oh, heck yeah. This is what I've been waiting for my whole life. Like, I remember as a little girl, like, just sitting there, even though I would do lives, like, I would wish there was some way that I could just make a bigger platform and reach people more. And my followers had been asking me, why aren't you doing a film? And I was like, well, I don't know. And then they finally reached out to us, and they was like, and this is a funny story, because my grandmother was in the hospital having like shoulder surgery right when they reached out to us. It was right in the hospital. And my dad, I was sitting there just praying that Granny would be okay. And my dad goes like this and pats me on the shoulder, And he said, I think you might be going out to California. There's these people that wants to film you. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he was like, there's these people that had reached out to your mother and they had to watch your previous video with Chris Ulmer. And they was like, we want to film her. Can we come out and film her? And at first we thought it was a joke because who's going to think it's real when your grandmother's having surgery and you're sitting in the hospital when they reached out to you? But I was like, yes, sign me up. Like, where's the papers? And I was so excited and I was thrilled. They had came out and filmed us for 3 days. And they had did the pilot or whatever they call it for the film, and it was incredible. Like, I went to my favorite local pie shop and they let me make some with the owner, and it was so much fun. And let me tell you, it only takes one look. That's all it took, was just one look. And I was in love with everybody who I was working with. And they were
I
so
know they loved
nice.
you. You can tell.
They were so nice. And just a couple of months later, Christopher Knight reached out and he was on board. And I was like, yay! I always watched the remixes of the Brady Bunch when I was a little girl. Like, that's all we watched at my grandmother's house. So that was incredible that I get to have the pleasure to be working with him. And his wife texts me every single day. Like, she wants me to call her right after this and tell her how everything went. So we're close. We're a tight-knit family. We're called Truelove the Film Family. That's what I call. And
well, you could tell just when you guys were interacting, when I saw you guys on the set at Hallmark, you could tell you're a family. But who wouldn't want to be family with you? I think the whole world wants to be family with you.
And we feel like that's one thing
we feel like everybody's our family.
Yeah, that's one thing Callie has always she's always just made everybody her family and just loves everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you did. She loves everybody.
Yeah,
everybody. And she sees everybody the same.
Yeah, that's what we're all about. When you come on my live, I want you to feel at home and like you're safe and that you're happy and that you can tell us anything and we're not gonna judge you. Like, that's what I want my followers to feel like there's finally a life where they can just come on and open up and nobody's gonna judge them because we're a family. Like, Look Into Callie's Heart is a platform of a family, and like we love making people feel at home. And I love working out now. That's what I do, is I work out now, and it's so much fun.
Well, you know what? You can tell. I've watched your lives, and what I love the most is, well, the love that you share, but your authenticity. Like, both of you show up together, and I love your authenticity. You are who you are, and that's what people, I think, really want to see. They just want to see what's really going on, and you guys share that, and you open up your hearts and your home. And there was one I was watching with you, and I think, Callie, you were finishing eating up, and Tabitha, you're like, no, it's okay, finish eating, we're just gonna wait to see if anybody comes on the live. And of course there are thousands that come on the live. And so you're so humble. Like, you're huge. Your videos go viral on Facebook, and you're just so humble, and you love everybody, and it really comes across.
We love family. We love, like, our family has always, we have 3 other girls, and we have, our grandkids, and I've always wanted my family to be close, and I've always wanted, and my husband pastors a church, and we have our church family, and when I say church family, it's one big family, and our family's always been close, and it's always been, we try to be there for each other and love each other, and then they branch out and have their families, and they love each other. And I think that's important, and I think that's what Callie has taught us, the importance of love and family. Not that we didn't have it before, but it was a whole new meaning, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
is because we cherish the time, and a lot of people don't have that. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't have that close knit family and that tight knit family. So whenever we started doing these lives, it was almost like we want to draw everybody in, that they can be our family, and that if they don't have that they can feel part of a family. And I don't know how many times we've said 1,000 times over that we wish that we could see and hug each one of them and
I
just tell
do.
them that we love them.
Mm.
And you talk about being dealt cards, and how life don't always go as we wanted and or planned as we wanted. And sometimes people get stuck when they're handed something. They get stuck at that point because they don't have somebody that encourages them, or they don't have somebody that loves them unconditionally, and that they try to lift them up and move them into a different direction. They get stuck in that point. And I have always since, well, I've always wanted to help people, and I've always wanted to be there for people and love people. But since Callie has came along, even when she was tiny, tiny, she's always had this love and this something about her that notices when people need something. Even as a baby, we were
At
at
the funeral.
yeah, we were at the funeral home, and my husband pastors a church, and we were meeting this family that the grandmother went to our church, but we had no idea who the dad was, and their son had got killed and in a car accident. Well, we had never met the father of this boy that died. Well, Callie immediately went to this man at the funeral home and laid
Wow.
her head down on his shoulder and was just hugging him. And the grandmother started crying, and she said, how did she know that?
You're making me cry right now.
How did she know that that's my son? That's his son that he just lost. I had no idea. I had never met the man, but Callie knew that. And she was not even 2 years old. And she
Wow.
just went right to him. So whenever we're out, I'm quick to say, Callie, no talking, or because I'm in a hurry going, or doing something. But it's always that Callie always finds
That
somebody.
person that needs
Yes.
love or that
And
needs support.
and it may just be that she smiles at him and says, I love your tattoo, or I love your piercings, or I love your hair, or you look beautiful today. And
And those little things can totally
yes,
change somebody's day,
it just is.
especially now when
It
everybody's on kind of high alert and
right.
I
It
think,
changes.
yeah.
It changes people. And if somebody is in a place where they feel like that they're stuck, they can't go any further, or that nobody loves them, or that, why should I even try anymore because I don't have anybody that really cares, you know, that's what I want her Facebook to be about, because that's who she is. And
Mm-hmm.
even though we may not know them personally, or we may not have ever met them, or seen them face to face, I think people can, just like Callie felt that with that man, I feel like that she can give that to people that may be stuck out there, that feels like that they have nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important in the world today. I think that's important, you know, for us to encourage people that we may not ever think of, like passing on the street, a homeless person, or a kid that's been, stuck in a home where they don't get encouragement or they don't get love, that we can do that. We need to take the time to stop and think about others, and think about encouraging other people. And it may just be a smile. It may just
Mm-hmm.
be a smile, or like Callie has a million times over told people, you look beautiful today. And they
Mm-hmm.
may have on the dirtiest of clothes. They may not have the best of what they have on, but it's what they have, and she sees that, and she realizes that they need that. And I think that if we all stopped and took the time to see through the first impression, or the dirty clothes, or the dirty language, or the hatred, or the anger, I think that if we stopped and we saw past that and saw that person, really saw that person like Callie does, then we could make a change. We could make a change in somebody's life. And that's what she's taught me. She's
Oh,
taught me to
it's
see.
beautiful. It is beautiful. You're making, I mean, I'm in tears because that's so true. If we could just stop for a minute and think about the person. And one of the reasons I'm in tears is because last night, um, on the news, I forgot and I left the TV on. And on the news, I guess I ran upstairs, and on the news there was a police officer that was getting attacked by like just mobs of people. And I think it hit me hard because my husband used to be a cop. He's been retired now, but he used to be a cop. And my daughter, who's 12, Ruby, said, Mama, I felt so sorry for him. He's a cop, but he's a person too, and they don't even know him. She said, and then two strangers went over and helped him and had to pull him away because he was getting beaten so badly. And that's the thing. If we could just stop for a minute and think about that person is a real person. Yes, there are some people out there that do some bad things and some unspeakable things, but hurt people hurt people. And if we can all start to heal and really just love each other, then I think that we can change the world. And I think that y'all are changing the world every single day. I tell you, I really look up to you and all that you do with your lives, because I get a little bit like scared to do a live. I'm like, oh gosh, the camera's right in front of me. And then I look at you and you just do lives all the time on Facebook. So you inspire me to do more actually on Facebook. And were you always that outgoing with the camera?
Always.
Yes. I got my picture taken all the time when I was a little baby. So I guess it stuck with me. I'm not shy at all. I mean, I love
So you
getting
were ready for Hollywood.
Oh, she's
Yes.
always been, always. I mean, always just
I mean, I was
ready to go.
I was a go lucky, everything's hunky dory kind of girl when I was little. I remember my first ice cream, and that's hard to remember. And it was a chocolate fudge, and my grandmother fed it to me, and it was so delicious. But yeah, I love getting my pictures taken. I love getting photo shoots. I love getting the camera put on me. I love getting the microphones put on me, the camera gear, or whatever. I love the
loves it.
film crew.
Well, what advice do you have for me to get more comfortable with it?
Just be yourself, and whoever judges you, just
Love 'em.
love them, and tell them that you are, tell that person that they are worth $100 billion. See, that's, people don't think that they're worth it, and that's what I try to encourage my followers, is when they say it, I try to tell them that you're worth a lot more than what you think you are. And they've encouraged me along the way too. It's not just me that has encouraged people, they've encouraged me too. I wish I could get back to all of them for doing that, but yeah, I try to encourage my followers that they are loved and they're accepted, and that I want to get on your fitness program. I want to get on your fitness program.
Oh, well, I've definitely had a lot of judgment. I think we live in a world where a lot of people place judgment. Um, I really had to learn to get comfortable in my own skin before I even felt comfortable going out and wearing shorts because of all my scars and everything. And I don't know if it's just because, there's a lot of judgment here. I've been judged with my accent. You know, people think you're not as smart sometimes when you have a Southern accent, or they think you're naive. Oh, you're so sweet and naive. And I'm like, if you only knew. No. um, and, you know, just judged on a lot of things. What do you do, or have you ever had people judge you for things? And if so, what do you do when you are judged? Do you
I've
ever
only,
get people that judge you?
yeah, sometimes, and I just let it go off my shoulder. I don't worry about it because I know who watches over me and I know who protects me, which is God and my parents, and they won't let it go too far, and I won't let it go too far. So I just rub the haters off my shoulder and move on with my life.
I love it. I love it. Next time I get a hater, I'm going to call you up, or actually I'll rub them off. That is awesome. You are so awesome. Now, I know things have kind of been put on hold a little bit with the documentary, but you're still working on that. Do you have any idea when that's going to be released, or kind of up in the air with everything that's going on with filming and everything with COVID?
Sort of up in the air. We just
Yeah.
We're
we're
up
waiting.
in the air, but I think that's what has kept me so positive, is knowing that I'm gonna change more people's lives. If it's just one person, just one little person, then I will be happy because I know that my job on the earth is done. And however long God wants to keep me here, He will. And that's His decision. But if I can change one person's life, then I will be satisfied knowing that I've changed that one person's life and that they can go on and change other people's lives. And if
It's
it's,
definitely a ripple effect.
yeah,
And you're causing huge ripples. I mean, you really are. And now you have your book, and I want to hear more about your book. I think you have it there. Do you
Mhm.
have it there with you so you can hold it up so we can see it?
There we go.
Oh, Dancing in the Jungle. And I know what a process it is to write a book. How long did it take you to write your book? I'm always curious to how long it takes people, because it took me forever.
well, I came up with the idea of writing a story because I'm like, Mom, more kids needs to read books, and I think it's appropriate for all ages. And it was an honor to be able to write this book. And when this COVID situation is over, we're planning a book signing.
Oh,
But
well,
yeah,
if I want to go to one of your book signings, I want to get a signed book and a hug.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I
yes,
will stay tuned.
but I knew that Doodle was battling cancer, but even before that, I just wanted to write a book, encourage others, and tell people that their dreams can really come true. And it took a lot of battles to get here, but it was so worth it in the end. And I think when I have a trial, I look at the positive of it and try to think about the positive, like, oh yeah, even though I'm going through this, something positive is gonna come out in the end. Something's gonna get through all of this, and I can get through this. But it really hit home right when we knew that Doodle was fighting this battle of cancer, and I've just been sitting here thinking of all the lives that not only I have changed, but it was with my furry companion that we both
Mm.
changed lives, and that he was changing lives, and that he taught so many other dogs so much love, and that he was such a big part of my life, and that he's the reason why I stayed so positive. Even though he's gone, I'm still gonna stay positive. And yeah, so here's a picture of us together.
Oh, and I saw that so many of your fans sent you so many gifts.
They did.
Yeah,
Precious, precious
it
gifts.
touched my heart that they would think about us during this hard time, and that they would spend their money on buying gifts for just a normal person like me who was trying to make a
Oh,
difference on this earth. It meant the world to me. And if I could, man, I would go to Texas, and I would go to Nebraska or wherever they would live, and I would give them a hug and just tell them thank you. And I've always wanted to give back to them. So what I'm thinking is doing is taking a photo shoot and giving them an autograph that was signed by me, so that they can have a little something from their favorite person.
Oh, I love you. You know what though? I think you're always thinking of how can you give? How can you be of service? And what happens when you are giving and you're of service, it comes back. So it's this beautiful circle of love and light, and that's what you do. And then, so I can't wait. I haven't read the book yet, so I'm going to buy the book for me and for my 12-year-old to read. And so I can't wait to read the book. And if you're going to be filming back out here in LA, we're going to have to get together. I want to see
We
you.
love that.
I am definitely coming back to LA because my fitness instructor lives down there on YouTube, so I will definitely be back. And I think you should have him on your podcast.
Really? That's a shout out to the fitness instructor. Who is it?
His name is Caleb Marshall. He's a fitness instructor.
I'm writing it down. Okay, we got that one. Okay.
Yeah, so
Well, I want to see, but before we go, I would love to know what your definition of resilience is.
I think it's just being strong and being there for the people that you love. And giving is a whole lot better than receiving. And I believe if I can give to this world, maybe I can make a little light go off in someone's mind and make them realize that there is still good in this world, and that's what I live for and strive for, is to be is to be a better person, and to be strong and to not let other people like bring you down, and just stay positive in life. And I believe if I can change one person's life, then think of all the people that I could change if I could change just one person.
With that ripple effect. Oh, well, I'm just so grateful that you were here. I love y'all, and
Oh, we love you.
I thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your love and light and kindness. And I'll see you really soon. For everybody who's listening, you can find her information so you can follow her and watch her lives, Callie, on Facebook. And I'll also put a link for maybe this won't be released for about another month. Who knows? Maybe we'll have better news and we'll have a date for the show. But I'll put all your information in the show notes for everybody. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you for asking us. We enjoy being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Spread the love.
Spread that love, girl.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.